What up, y'all? It's the Robot Watcher. Grab your binoculars, and I'm back with another video, another player eval. Y'all wanted to get to the college stuff. We get into the college stuff. You see the title. It's about Colston Loveland, Michigan tight end, sleeper player. Not because of school he went to or level of competition, nothing like that. But I got a hot take about him, so let's get into it right now. Let's not waste no time. Yeah, if you like the video, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Colston Loveland. Let me know what you think about the take I'm gonna have. Turn on post notifications so you can see me every week. All that good stuff. First thing you got to talk about, 3-year player. I want to say he's 21 years old. 3-year player at Michigan. 2022, 16 catches, 235 yards, 2 tutties. Not a full-on starter, full-on position player or like impact player in his first year, his freshman year. But that second year, that natty year with J.J. McCarthy all in, 45 catches, 649 yards, 4 tutties. Really, really big impact. That's when you started to see, hey, I remember watching the national championship or just the playoffs in general and that Ohio State game, like, man, this Loveland dude is kind of nice. Is he draft eligible this year? He wasn't. But then you got this year, 56 catches, 582 yards, 5 tutties. Michigan don't have a quarterback. Passing game is not good. He was in a run-first offense last year, but at least he had a better quarterback. Now he literally has running backs and quarterbacks and high school quarterbacks playing for him. So his stats went a little bit down, but I'm still impressed that he was able to get close to 600 yards and most tutties in his career. But let's get into the actual film stuff. Now, for the first strength that I got to talk about when it comes to his take, the first strength we got to talk about, he's a smooth mover. He is a smooth criminal, you feel me? He moves like a basketball player, which I've talked about this with somebody else, Ted McMillan. They also are big, tall, lanky, skinnier guys, but they move so smooth. They move like they play multiple sports, like they play basketball. Colston Loveland has that as a tight end. He's 6'5", 245. So he's a bigger, but still a good frame tight end. He's not like a skinny guy that you're like, is he going to be able to last on the next level? Nothing like that. He's still big enough to play, but he is so smooth. When it comes to his acceleration or even his deceleration, he has the ability to drop his hips in and out of routes. He has the ability to kind of set you up with quick-footed, like Euro steps in the route, things like that. He's just very smooth as a mover, and even when he has the ball in his hands, the moves that he makes as a ball carrier, they're really smooth. He doesn't look like a laboring mover. He's not like this freight train or this truck that's kind of running through, blowing through guys, running through guys like you would expect from tight ends, like a Brock Bowers, like a George Kittle, guys like that, or even like the tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren. He's not that type of guy, but he's a much more of a, like how Ted McMillan, how I told y'all how he is. Just a smooth guy. He's elusive somewhat. I won't say he's super elusive. He's definitely not like Ted, but he has some elusivity to him where he's able to make guys miss in the route with the ball in his hands, things like that. He's able to get upfield and accelerate easily to make him not necessarily a deep threat to where he's a burner or you're sending him on go routes on the outside, but up the seam, 20, 30 yards downfield, he's able to beat or get a step on a linebacker, or plenty of steps on a linebacker, 2-3 steps on a linebacker. But even on safeties, he's able to get a step on them with his acceleration and his smoothness if he's able to put a move on them. So very, very smooth mover. Something that you like to see in a tight end because it's rare. He runs some whip routes and some crazy things, but I don't even want to get into that because my second point, he's also a very savvy, but also smooth, but very savvy route runner. Tight ends, you want to see them use their physicality when they're playing DBs to win. He does that easily. He has that ability to get into get on the toes of a DB or get into the toes of a middle linebacker. He's able to get that little slight push off to where they don't throw the flag, but it's just enough where he's open. He gets that slight push off, things like Travis Kelce and other guys do a lot, and then give the quarterback his hands on out routes, in routes, things like that. Not necessarily curls or comebacks because those are where you get the penalties, but you run into a guy's chest, get on his toes, and then you give him a slight push and break out. He has the ability to get that separation on plays like that. So that makes him a threat underneath, but he's also a savvy route runner because if you're playing him in off coverage, he's able to put in a move or two. And like I said before with that Euro step, he's able to put his foot in the ground and get upfield or get into that post or corner, and he's open. There's plenty of plays on his tape where he's getting open deep because of his route running ability. But like I said, also, he's able to just drop his hips. There was a play where he was at the X, and he kind of ran like a comeback. And he put a move on and then dropped his hips and immediately came back before the DB could get him. Now, he didn't get the ball, but before the DB can, recover. If you have a quarterback with great anticipation, wink, 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 both eyes winking, but wink, wink, with a quarterback with great anticipation, and he's the primary read on that, that's going to be a 10-yard first down because the DB isn't there to, play the ball. And also, he's a tight end. You expect him to be able to make those tough catches through contact. But yeah, the smoothness and savviness, that's why I say it's also savvy and it's not just smooth, because with Ted McMillan, I talked about how smooth he was with if he has a 3-step package, or he's using his footwork and kind of Euro steps and basketball moves, dropping his hips to get open. But the ability to be able to use contact, use your body, box guys out, he's able to do that. I mean, there's plenty of times where on digs, that's one of my favorite routes that he runs. He runs a deep dig 15, 20 yards down the field. He's able to get up, get an outside move to get that DB off of to commit to the outside. He's able to put his hands on a swipe away, but also break inside with that in just one clean, swift movement. And he's wide open, and he's able to get really good yak off of that because the DB's 2 yards behind him, 3 yards behind him, in their space to run over the middle. So for a guy who's really good at throwing over the middle, really good at throwing those digs, wink, wink, with anticipation, wink, wink, you would be a really, really good route runner, a really good immediate separator almost for a guy like that, which is something that the Panthers need. They need somebody who can create separation with their route running immediately. That's not just Adam Thielen. You feel me? But yeah, really savvy route runner. No, he's not going to be just completely dropping guys, even though I've seen him do it, completely dropping guys, completely leaving guys out of their shoes like wide receivers can. But he's one of the better separators as a tight end that I've seen coming out of the draft since I've been scouting, or that's in the league right now. Anyway, next thing that I want to talk about is he has great hands. Now, we talked about getting open, be able to do the savviness to get open, use his physicality, all that stuff. But even if he's not open, he's a tight end. So if you have a safety on him, you can throw it up to him, throw it back shoulder, throw it kind of high, make him high pointed over the middle of the field. He's able to pull it in. There were some drops on his tape, but most of the drops were kind of like some off center, off target passes from J.J. McCarthy, who threw it with like 100 miles per hour behind it. So they're not necessarily the easiest. I didn't want to put it too much on him, but most of the times I see him using his hands to catch. He's a hands catcher. He goes up out of his frame and gets it. He goes low and gets it while in contact with a DB. He's able to catch it back shoulder. I've seen where guys are kind of in his line of vision. They kind of dove for the ball and the ball just nearly got past them. He's able to still bring it in while sliding. So really, really good hands. And that's what you want to see in a tight end. So if he's not able to get open, right? I mean, we talked about he's 6'5", 6'4". He's not able to get open. He only has one step on the DB, but the DB's eyes are to him and not the quarterback. You want a guy where you can put it back shoulder, or you can put it right over the DB's helmet and you can go and get it with his hands. That's what he is. I didn't see too many body catches on his tape, honestly. That's not what I see. But really, really good hands. Really, I wanted to say good hands at first, but he has really great hands as I went through the tape and watched more and more games. But not to dwell on that, because that's kind of what you want in the tight end. You want a guy that has good hands. You don't want a guy with drop issues at tight end. That's not their game. But anyways, number 4, and what's almost, I want to say second or most important, he's a yak threat. Now, at first, I was like, he's not giving me too much yak when I was watching the games this year. But then I went back and watched those Michigan games last year. Most of this tape that I'm basing this off of is 2023, because the 2024 tape, while still good, is nowhere near 2023 because the quarterback play is so bad. So bad. And they're relying so much of their offense on him. But it's just so bad. So bad. So 2023, you see a lot more yak because he's getting a lot more passes on target in space where he's able to turn and make moves. I talked about how a smooth mover he is. And he's able to kind of, whenever he has the ball in his hands, he's able to put moves on guys. I mean, I remember this one play where they're running this like leak route off of play action. They give him the ball and the defender goes to chop him, or he gets the ball obviously, and the defender goes to tackle him below his knees. He's able just to a mini hurdle while stiff arming him down and cut up field in one swift movement. I'm like, dog, it's receivers on my team that we picked in the first round, not to hate, that can't do that. He would be the best yak threat on the Panthers. Now, I'm not saying he's some George Kittle, Brock Bowers type of yak threat where he's breaking a lot of tackles. I don't see him break too many tackles. He can kind of if a guy's behind him, he's trying to use an arm tackle, wrap him up. I've seen him run through them. I've seen him kind of not necessarily run over a DB, but a DB try to hit him, and he stands his ground, but he was out of bounds. But he's not going to be breaking too many tackles. But because of a smooth mover he is and separation he has, in that acceleration and deceleration, he's able to get the ball in space and accelerate and beat guys to angles. He's almost like a Travis Kelce type of Yak Threat. I put B+ Yak Threat on here, which is great. That would be the best on the team. But he's not this guy where you throw him an RPO quick slant and expect him to take it 30 yards. He might be able to, but that's not what you expect. But I've seen him get some tight end screens, turn it into 10, 15-yard first downs. I've seen him take a dig 30, 40 yards. I've seen him take a wheel route 40 yards because of that acceleration and speed. I don't know what his speed is, but I can tell his acceleration is really, really good. So B+ Yak Threat, and that's something that the Panthers really, really need. Had to stop the tape. I can feel my voice getting hoarse. But like I said, B+ Yak Threat, that's something that the Panthers need. Next thing I want to talk about, which is very important and very tailored to the Panthers and teams like the Panthers if you have a quarterback like him. His ability to make himself available in the scramble drill is great. Whether it's just sitting in an open hole and zone and kind of giving his eyes to the quarterback, making sure the quarterback can see, hey, I'm with you, moving with him as he's moving throughout the pocket, but staying in that hole. Plenty of plays like that. But also just to get back in the phase of a play even when his route is over. Get back in the phase and make some tough catches. I mean, you throw it up, he high points it. You throw it, like I said, where defenders are kind of jumping in front of him. He's able to go get it. He gets into the soft spot and zones. And with that yak that he has, he's able to kind of create some big plays out of that. I mean, not all of the plays that you see where he's making himself available. I don't know. I'm not sure the words that I want to give to you because he's not this. I think if you have a quarterback, and this is giving away so much, think of Travis Kelce, how he is with Mahomes. Mahomes always talk about, hey, I know whenever I get into the scramble drill, I look for Travis, and Travis always knows where to be. It seems like he has that ability to know where to be in the scramble drill, but also when to cut it upfield and make a big play out of it. It's definitely a play on his tape. I'm using it here where we've seen Tommy Tremble, we've seen Jatavian Sanders, and other guys do the same exact thing where he kind of curled up while Bryce was running out and and the DB kind of committed to the scramble and we dumped it off. He has the speed and acceleration, but also the IQ to turn that into a touchdown. He did that same thing with J.J. McCarthy. So that ability in the scramble drill is a major positive for somebody like the Panthers, where we've seen this year it's been much better. In the scramble drill, guys like Jalen Coker and XL and Jatavian Sanders especially have been able to make themselves available. Now, XL isn't always pulling them in, but Coker and Jatavian Sanders have been really, really good in the scramble drill in creating plays after the concept of the play is over and once Bryce is on the move. So adding another guy like that, and who is probably better than both of those guys, you're going to see that escapability and that creativity outside the pocket that Bryce was highly touted on, which we're seeing a lot more in the second half of the season. We're going to see it flourish even more with a guy like this. So really, really good in the scramble drill, really good for teams like the Colts don't need a tight end, but the Panthers, the Chiefs, the Ravens, even though they probably don't need a tight end either, but guys who, I can't say the Bills, they don't need a tight end either, but anyways, guys who have that ability to create and extend the play, he's going to be a really, really good asset because of that. Next thing I want to talk about, which is also very important, not necessarily based on his college tape. This point right here is a projection, but he's going to be a red zone monster. Look at all the stuff that I've given you so far. It's the reason I ordered it like this. Smooth mover, very savvy and smooth route runner. Great hands to go up and get it in a contested catch, go get it outside his frame. He's a hands catcher, diving, whatever it is. Really, Yak Threat doesn't really matter, but makes himself available in the scramble drill. Now, all of that sounds like a really good red zone player. When you're in the red zone, things are condensed. The routes, you can't necessarily stretch the field, things like that. You need a guy who's savvy to get open with his physicality. You need a guy where you can throw it up and give him a chance to just go beat a DB with a jump ball or something like that. You need a guy who has the separation ability in tight spaces, which he does have. You need a guy who's the play breaks down. What do we see Baltimore Ravens most of the time Lamar gets a touchdown in the red zone passing wise, who's it to? Mark Andrews or maybe sometimes Isaiah Likely. Why? Because he's running around, scrambling around. Ooh, oh, I see my tight end. He sees me. He's going to get into my face. He's going to give me his eyes. And I'm going to go give him a chance to make a tough catch, or he's just open. Even when it's Travis Kelce and the Chiefs, Pat's moving around. Maybe not this year, like I said, because his tight ends, his touchdowns are kind of down. But Pat's moving around. He needs somebody to get open, give him his eyes, dump it down to Kelce right over the middle, easy. Bryce has been plenty of times where he's scrambling in the red zone trying to make a play. Nobody necessarily gets open. Sometimes Thielen has, but nobody necessarily gets open. But we also don't have a jump ball threat outside of XL, which at the beginning of the season he was doing really good with making those tough catches, jump ball catches, but they started to bracket him in the red zone, which I've shown on film this year. So you need another guy who you're able to make those tough catches, throw it up to, or he's able to get open. He's able to get open in the scramble drill. All of that stuff. I feel like this guy is going to be a red zone monster. I think he can get you 7 to 9 touchdowns every single year if he's able to hit his ceiling and if he's able to get a quarterback who's able to extend the play like a Bryce Young, like a Caleb Williams, like a J.J. McCarthy back in the day, back at Michigan, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar. Those guys that's able to extend the play like that, I think he can get you 7, 9 touchdowns with 4, 5, or 6 of them coming in the red zone. That's just how good I project him to be in the red zone based off all of the traits that he has. Last thing I want to talk about, just alignment versatility. I told you he lined up at X, seen him line up at Z, seen him line up in line, I've seen him line up in the slot. I've seen him line up in the backfield. It was only one play. But there's plenty of versatility you want to use him as. He's not just a inline tight end. He's not just a slot guy like some of the shades of that I have. He's able to line up everywhere, which is make you can create mismatches. Simple as that. You can create mismatches. So I really love Colston Loveland. Watching his tape, I fell in love with him. I'm like, nah, this guy's crazy. But there is stuff that's not necessarily his game, and let's go ahead and get into it now. Now, first thing you got to talk about when it comes to stuff that's not necessarily Colston Loveland's game, blocking. He went to Michigan, so he has the effort that you like to see in the blocking. He's not just going to give up, just let guys beat him. He's trying to block, but it just ain't there. I don't think he has the play strength or the frame to necessarily move guys in the run game. Now, on combo blocks, I have seen him been able to kind of combo a guy and get out the way for a touchdown in the red zone. But that was one of the only good blocks I seen him make in the run game. Like the whole time I was watching his tape. And I watched a lot of games. I watched way more than 4. I watched at least 6 games of his. No, I watched 4 games of his on his own. Then I watched like 4 games of J.D. McCarthy. So I watched like 8 games of tape on this guy. And it wasn't too much blocking upside that I seen there. I just don't think it's there. Not necessarily saying that he won't be good because of this. We seen guys like Travis Kelce not be able to block and still be good. We got our blocking guys. We got Jatavian Sanders, who has been a much better blocker than we imagined, and he has the frame to get better at that. Maybe we bring Tommy Tremble back. He could be a blocker. We don't necessarily need a blocker at tight end. So, but that is something that's not necessarily his game, and I don't know if it ever will be. The next thing I want to talk about, when I was watching that Purdue tape, he struggled heavily with whoever was guarding him. He was being overly physical. Now, he still had a good little game. Like, they didn't take him out of the game. But that separation, that smoothness in his movements, the yak, things like that, it wasn't popping off on the tape when I watched that Purdue game because he's just getting pushed around. The guy's consistently in his chest. He still had like 4 catches, 55 yards, something like that, I want to say. So he still made an impact on the game. But if you get a guy that's really physical to man him up 24/7, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if he's able to be this dominant threat, which I think he can be in the passing game. But next thing I want to talk about for things that he's not necessarily his game, and that's something that he can improve with, by the way. But things that's not necessarily his game. When it comes to 2024 tape, not 2023, 2024 tape, there was a couple plays where he didn't really hang on to the ball when there was a big hit or a very tough catch because of the defender was hitting him or in contact with him. I don't necessarily want to hold it against him because 2023, different story. But there was something to note because it was enough of those passes that he dropped or was jarred out because of a hit that I had to write it down for something that's not necessarily his game. I don't know if you want him to be taking those hits like that. Not because he can't. He has the frame to hold up. He wasn't hurting anything. He just wasn't holding on for 2024. But that's all I got for the stuff that's not necessarily his game. Yeah, very short list. That should let you know once I get into this player comp, it's about to be some hot takes. So let's go ahead and get it. Now, when it comes to the shades of, or matter of fact, let's do his player build first, my bad. When it comes to his player build, I have just an offensive engine. Let me explain. I think this guy, if he hits his potential, you get him a good quarterback. That's another thing with tight ends. You need good quarterbacks. Well, unless you're Brock Bowers, so maybe I could be wrong. But you get him a quarterback that matches those things, that are good at those things that I listed, like the extendability and things like that. I think he can be the engine to your offense. He could be your primary read on a lot of plays. He'll draw a lot of attention from the defense. I think he could be a mismatch, just destroying teams because how good he is with his route running, his smoothness, his yak ability, his hands, his ability in the scramble drill to show his eyes how good of a red zone threat he will be at the next level. I think he could be the engine to your passing game. He could be your duo, your Tom and Gronk, your Lamar and Mark Andrews for a long time. Your I can't think of bro name. I said Tom and Gronk. Patrick Mahomes and Kelce, my bad. I think he could be that good of a guy at his ceiling. Not saying he will reach that, but that's his ceiling. One of those type of guys. Different. So yeah, offensive engine. I think you can build an entire offense. Like if you get him in an Andy Reid, somebody like Andy Reid, who is really, really great at just scheming tight ends, getting them on certain routes, getting them open, getting them looks, developing tight ends. Boy, I think do not let the Chiefs draft this dude. Let me just say that. Do not let the Chiefs draft this dude. If you're happy because Kelce is starting to decline, the end is near for him. His brother just retired. His has got to be coming up soon. Don't let the Chiefs get Colston Loveland, because it's going to be that all over again. Now, with that said, we can go ahead and get into the shades of, which the first one I have is Travis Kelce. Dog, I kept dropping it throughout the video because I just had to get my point across on the things that I was trying to say. But look at Travis Kelce now. He's smooth. He moves like a basketball player. He has great hands. He's really, really great in the scramble ability to show his hands, show his eyes to the quarterback, get open, get into the soft spots, beat guys that are smaller than him, that's guarding him. I mean, we see what he did to Kyle Hamilton in the playoffs. Red zone monster, all of that stuff. Alignment, versatility. They line Kelce up in the slot. They line him up out wide here and there. You're used to at least. They line him up in line. Everything sounds like Travis Kelce, and there's another player that I think has those same traits. He goes to Oregon. Travis Ferguson, can't remember his first name. I think it's Terrence Ferguson. My bad. But he doesn't have the athletic ability that Colston Loveland has. Dog, it literally looked like I was watching when I'm watching that 2023 tape. Literally looks like I'm watching Travis Kelce play. Now I had to look up like a little bit of Travis Kelce. Because maybe I was like, maybe I'm tripping. Had to look up his stats at Cincinnati. Had to look up a little bit of tape. And the most he had was 700 yards one year. So it's not like he was just this dominant force where he's not like how dude from Bowling Green, Harold Fanning. He wasn't putting up those stat lines. So there is a possibility that he could be that. And with the quarterback play that Colston Loveland had, it really hurt him this year. I think he could have had a breakout year if he had another. I mean, he already had a breakout year last year, but he could have had 800, 900 yards if he had another great quarterback throwing him the ball. Because if you look at the tape, he's still open. He's still getting open. He's still moving guys out of the way. He's still getting separation, all of that stuff. He's just being missed a lot. So Travis Kelce, I know y'all I'm getting killed, but I think this guy could be, personally, I think Colston Loveland could be the second best or third best, depending on what you think Travis Hunter is, third best receiving option in this draft. Maybe second over Ted McMillan. It just depends. I think that's how good he is at his ceiling. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this guy, if he came out last year, if the tape he had last year was for this year, he would probably be a top 15, top 10 pick. I've watched some Tyler Warren. Haven't finished this tape, but this is my tight end one. Simple as that. Next one I want to talk about, next shades of, let's go a step down, okay? Let's not say he's Travis Kelce. TJ Hawkinson / Dalton Kincaid. I put Dalton Kincaid, but I can see TJ Hawkinson too, but that's kind of a high bar. But Dalton Kincaid, I can see him being that. You look at all three of these guys that have the shades of, they all have that alignment versatility where they mostly line up in the slot. They also line up in line. They also line up out wide. all that stuff. I think this guy getting you 600, 700 yards a year like TJ Hockenson, or 500 to 700, very, very doable. 4 or 5 touchdowns, very, very doable. I think that's a very good possibility. TJ Hockenson was mainly a receiver. He doesn't, not TJ Hockenson. I keep saying TJ Hockenson. Dalton Kincaid, mainly a receiving threat coming out. Not much of a blocking threat. Sounds familiar. Also with Travis Kelce. Not much of a yak threat as Colston Loveland is. So I think that's where the ceiling is a little bit better for Colston Loveland. But I could see them being similar roles in the NFL, and which would still be great. I think Dalton Kincaid is like the second option in that Bills offense, which is good. So the last one I have, Kyle Pitts. But I think the difference between Colston Loveland and Kyle Pitts, now mind you, Kyle Pitts is known as a bust, but he's kind of been in a weird situation. 1,000 yards his first year. Next year, down year immediately. 300 yards. But then after that, it was like 600 yards. And then this year, he's at 500, about to be 600 yards. That's still a pretty good tight end. Is he this generational tight end, this Travis Kelce, best tight end in the league that he was, primed to be? No. But I think effort and, the situation kind of hurt what he could have been. I think Colston Loveland could be like what a Kyle Pitts is at worst. A 400 to 500, 600 yard tight end. So yeah, I think the difference between him and Colston Loveland is the effort. I can't even say, oh, he reminds me of this, because all of these guys have the same traits. Except for Kyle Pitts. He doesn't have that yak ability. He doesn't have the scramble drill ability. Neither does Dalton Kincaid. That's why I put Travis Kelce up here, because Colston Loveland and him have that. Neither of those guys are red zone threats either, or as big of red zone threats as Kelce is either. But all that other stuff, it matches up. But yeah, I think the difference is Colston Loveland, he went to Michigan. You're not going to have to worry about his effort. He's going to give effort when blocking. He's going to give effort when he's not getting the ball, as we've seen from this year, or he has bad quarterback play, unlike Kyle Pitts has, which has hurt him. But yeah, that's all I got. But bro, I think this dude, if I'm the Panthers and I win one more game, so we dropped to 9, we dropped to 10. Abdul's gone, Mason Graham's gone, Will Johnson's gone, Ted McMillan is gone. What do? Trade back first is my first option. If you get somebody that's maybe 5, 7 spots behind you and they're able to trade up, take it. But if not, the first option I'll be looking at is not Luther Burden. It will be Colston Loveland. And then Luther Burden, Tyler Warren around there. But dog, this dude is nuts. Like when I was watching that 2023 tape, I was like, all right, dog, this dude is one of the ones. So, I don't know, man. That's just me. I think he can be an elite player at the next level. I think he could be your first. Please just don't let the Chiefs get him. Please do not let the Chiefs get him. You give him a year to learn behind Travis Kelce, or 2, learn behind Travis Kelce when he retires. Please do not let that happen. Please. Let Bryce get him. Let Bryce get him. That's how good I think this dude is, dog. I think he's going to be crazy at the next level. But that's all I got for y'all. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you get all my videos whenever they upload it. Comment what you think. Am I tripping? Do you think Tyler Warren's better? Do you think I'm overrating him? Comment who you want to see next. What do you think the Panthers should do if they stay at 6? Or if they drop back to 9, 10, if they win this next week against Atlanta? Let me know what it is. But spin a roll ball, watch or grab your, or put your binoculars up, actually, because I'm out. See you next week, or maybe later this week.